So it's our pleasure to introduce Dr. Wong Teik Aun from one of the prestigious university college in Penang, INTI International College, Penang, Malaysia. Kindly play the video profile of Dr. Wong Teik Aun. Okay, Dr. Wong Teik Aun holds a PhD in corporate social responsibilities and philanthropy from Universiti Sains Malaysia. His areas of interest and subject expertise include corporate social responsibility, environment,
搭頭
social governance, social capital, small businesses, entrepreneurship. He obtained his Master of Business Administration from Universiti Utara Malaysia and his Bachelor of Arts cum laude with honors in Asian Studies from Pomona College, USA. He has also spent some semesters studying in Oxford University, England, and Nanjing University, China. He has presented at numerous conferences, guest lectured internationally, published in academic journals, and authored several books. For Dr. Wong, the time is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Gandan. Can you guys all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great. It's a pleasure to be here in this conference. And I believe the organizers are going to share my slides for me. Is that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, while waiting for my first slide to pop up, as I said, I'm very honored to be here and to be invited as a keynote speaker in this IBPM conference in Thailand. And I mean, it's really amazing, right? Whereby we can organize virtually and have people from all over the world converge and share our insights, our perspectives. And I believe here we are here to in a sense, pick on each other's minds, right? To find new insights, find new ideas, and hopefully I can contribute to this via my little presentation, which I'm waiting for the slides to pop up. Okay, there you go. So is there? Can you like enlarge and okay. Okay. Well, the title of my keynote speech is Higher Education in the World of AI. And I believe this is relatable to all of us, as we are all in higher education, and we are faced with a world that is increasingly being infused with AI and artificial intelligence, etc. So with that, I feel that this is a suitable topic to be shared with all, and hopefully that can open up some new thinking, some new perspectives, and open up new avenues of research and publication. Next slide, please. Okay, here we go. And this is my rough agenda for my presentation in on this topic. First, we'll look into deconstructing higher education, then current higher education scenario, followed by challenges of higher education. And I'd like to pose some big and even ultimate questions to all of us to ponder and to work on in our hopefully future research and publications. Next slide, please. Okay, when we think about it, higher education, I think all of us are immersed in it, and it's worthwhile to what I call deconstruct it, because if you ponder upon it, higher education is a complex, multi-dimensional phenomenon, and it fulfills several functions, right? If you deconstruct or you tear out the different components. What is higher education? And some of the roles of higher education might be very obvious, others less so. I believe the most obvious role of higher education within society is transmission of knowledge, right? We think of higher education as a place or an institution where we go to receive knowledge, to get knowledge transmitted to us. And that is a very prominent role. And it's not just transmission of knowledge, it's also generation of knowledge through new research, through new discoveries and findings. And that's a very obvious role. But on top of that, there are other less obvious roles that higher education play in society. And one of it is socialization. And what I mean here is we are taught indirectly, perhaps, on how to act, to behave, to play our role in society and how society works. Like, for example, it's common in education whereby we get different grades for different academic achievements, right? And in a sense, this is a form of differentiation, and it's inbuilt in our society whereby you put in different effort, there's a different outcome, and then you are rewarded in a sense with different grades, and the different grades will eventually reflect a different social status, social understanding, and that teaches us indirectly that hopefully your effort pays off if you put in hard work, and then you'll receive the different social recognition, and therefore that is how we function in society. On top of that, it's also an arena for what I call relationship formation, or what sociologists call higher education is actually a very conducive marriage market. Now, this is an arena whereby young people of roughly similar ages, roughly similar backgrounds converge and meet each other and get to know each other, form relationships, form friendships. And many of these connections can and will result in future longer-term relationships, perhaps even marriages and other connections. So it's a very conducive arena for relationship formation. Higher education also plays a role in personal development, whereby students, individuals, we use this as an arena for discovering our interests, exploring different areas of studies, of knowledge, and in a sense, finding out who we want to be. Because those who come into university are at a very formative age, right? These are young people, and in a sense, the students just trying to find their way in the world, to find how they fit into society, etc. And with that is a very conducive environment for personal development. On top of that, in the bigger scale of things, higher education contributes to our economy and nation building in fostering economic opportunities, providing jobs, providing through research, providing new knowledge, new insights, new technology to further our economy and hence develop our nation. And not just economically, but obviously also socially, whereby it's a very powerful tool of nation building to mold society, to develop society in the manner that the nation deems fit. So with these are some of the major elements of higher education when we deconstruct it into its different roles in society. Next slide, please. Okay, now with the current prominence and prevalence of AI, we have witnessed the following. And obviously, this is from my perspective and my research. I'll be happy to hear from others. When it comes to transmission of knowledge, with AI, this has accelerated, and knowledge can be transmitted much faster, much more efficiently than it used to be. And bear in mind, higher education does not have a monopoly on transmission of knowledge, whereby you can learn and get to know stuff from various sources apart from higher education. When it comes to socialization, from my observation, it has reduced to a certain extent. Of course, the results are mixed. Right nowadays, you can get to know friends online, but I observed that in terms of experiential learning, exposure, socialization, it has been reduced. Whereby I've taken when I look back at my own education journey, most of my friends were formed in schoolyards, playing together in dorms, living together, etc. But when it comes to a more AI-infused education environment, where there's online learning, where there's a lot of automated responses and all that, it feels that the human connection has been lessened. And when it comes to relationship formation, on this score, actually, I've done some research whereby, in sociology, we use the term social capital to to what they call to terminologize the simple human activity of friendship. This happened during COVID, whereby all of us have to revert or rather convert to online education delivery, and we track the social capital formation online and the traditional face-to-face education. And again, the results are mixed, but overall, at the overall comparison, social capital formation has been reduced when we did online learning and when we have less human interface. When it comes to personal development, I see this as a mixed result, whereby the online scenario on the positive side has opened up the world of knowledge to all of us. From a screen, from a keyboard, we can find out all sorts of things from all over the world. And on that score, it has enabled individuals to explore their interests. But then it's also mixed in the sense that whereby the experience and human exposure has been reduced, so that calls into question whether the personal development has been enhanced in this respect, whereby traditionally it's an arena for us to explore, experience different things, and the online environment seems to have a mixed result. Economy and nation building, I believe this is mixed. Now, I'm no economist, but I believe that certain sectors benefit from enhancement of AI, whereas others may see a decline. So it's up to nations to juggle, balance national policies accordingly in the world of AI. Next slide, please. Now, as I mentioned, during the COVID, there was a shift towards online education, and I believe accelerated with the way I've discussed just now, very similar to my previous slide. So, sorry, the next slide, please. Now, let's turn our attention to the current higher education scenario. And with this, obviously, I speak from a Malaysian perspective because this is where I'm from. But I believe this is very relevant to all of us, especially in Southeast Asia. In Malaysia, our higher education environment is highly regulated by our local authority, which is the MQA, or Malaysian Qualifications Agency. And we have set up a very comprehensive structure, which is based on OBE, outcome-based education, whereby there are very specific program and course learning outcomes and teaching approaches, assessments, and rubrics assigned to a particular course within a program. And of course, our MQA, our higher education framework is developed in accordance with the ASEAN framework. So in different forms, this is quite similar to other countries, at least within South Asia. And all these are benchmarked to international standards. So this is the direction where we are moving to, whereby our higher education is highly structured and very systematic. Next slide, please. Now, I'd like to be a bit of a critical thinker, if you will, to kind of like think on a different basis, whereby I feel there are some assumptions that we have made when it comes to developing our higher education system, whereby the implicit assumption is that we assume that we know the future, right? We are talking about a lot of outcomes. Outcome is by definition future oriented, and we cannot assume that we know what is good for the students in terms of the graduate attributes that we want them to develop. And I think it's worth pondering whether these assumptions are valid, are good, are strong enough, whereby the future changes very fast, right? And sometimes I ponder, and I don't mean to sound negative. I know that a lot of effort, a lot of good work has been invested into constructing a very robust and strong higher education system. But sometimes I do ponder, can our current system accommodate truly groundbreaking work, whereby it's really something new and we wouldn't know the outcome? Like, for example, if the geniuses like Einstein and Darwin, when they did their work, nobody knows what will be the outcome. Can the current system accommodate them and recognize these talents? I think this is something that is worth pondering, right? And I'd love to hear from the rest of you. Next slide, please. And now we have AI-supported teaching and learning. And again, sometimes I like to ponder, with AI-supported teaching and learning, are we able to generate truly new and novel discoveries? Because as you know, AI is very good in going through existing information, right? And coming up with new interpretation and all that, fine. Are we rehashing and refining existing knowledge? And think about it. If so, is this good enough? Because something that is truly new is not available yet, logically, right? So with the current AI infused world, are we able to generate truly new and novel discoveries? Worth pondering. Next slide, please. Now, when it comes to challenges of higher education, I believe that higher education, be it as an institution or as a construct, we need to rethink and recalibrate the role and relevance of higher education. Because as we deconstructed just now, a lot of the elements, in fact, all the elements is not the monopoly of higher education. Knowledge transmission, socialization, relationship formation, all these are not the sole purview of higher education. And with that, higher education needs to rethink where is it that we should focus on so that we can remain relevant. And I believe, from my point of view, these are the areas that I think higher education should focus on. Firstly, is on socialization and soft skills. Again, back to the deconstructed higher education, is a good arena for people to meet up, to develop their social skills, to develop social networks and relationships. And this is perhaps the area that higher education should focus on. Character building and personal development and discovery, again, is an arena for experimentation, for trying out, for experiencing new things. And this is an area that young people need to delve into. Community, economy, and nation building. It should continue to play a prominent role in community development, social development, and economic development. But when it comes to transmission of knowledge, I put a little question mark there. Is that the strength of higher education nowadays in the world of AI, whereby knowledge is abundantly available anywhere and everywhere? So I believe higher education needs to ponder this and rethink itself to be more to retain its relevance in the future. Next slide, please. When it comes to teaching and learning, human teachers and lecturers, you and I believe most of us are in the education line. I feel that we need to focus on more on pastoral care and soft skills. As I said, knowledge transmission, actually AI can do it very efficiently, and perhaps our role should be more towards the soft skills and the more human side of things. And our learning should focus more on experience, exposure, and soft skills rather than knowledge transmission, so that we retain our, in a sense, our relevance and our role in society. Next slide, please. So when it comes to higher education as an institution, as a college, as a university, the challenges include the fact that now that the functions of institutions has been unbundled, we need to really think of where is it that the strength of an institution lies. And with it, I believe it should be less emphasis on transmission of knowledge, which is easily available, but more on creation of knowledge, research, coming up with new and novel findings, which then we can then add to the body of knowledge. This, I believe, should be a prime function of higher education institutions. More emphasis on personal development and self-discovery in the higher education context amongst our students. We need to be very student-oriented, student-focused to enable our students to develop their innate talents and discover their passions. More emphasis on being cultural and social institutions. Now, we are not just knowledge-generating institutions or knowledge transmitting institutions, right? Higher education is also a social institution. It's also a cultural institution where we should use it to develop and enhance our society and our local culture. Next. Now, I'm coming towards the end of my presentation. I'd like to pose some questions for all of us to ponder, and hopefully that can spark future research. Now, will higher education still be relevant, prominent in the world of AI? Will it be replaced by informal learning, self-learning, and skills and vocational learning, vocational training? Think about it. Will teachers and lecturers still be relevant and prominent? Will we be replaced by AI chatbots, robots, and humanless online teaching and learning? Think about it. Will higher education institutions still be relevant, or will higher education institutions as we know it be replaced or be in a different form in the future? Now, these are all not easy questions to ask, and I guess my ultimate question, next slide, which is something that is not easy to ask, but I think worth pondering is, next slide. Will humans still be relevant and prominent in the world of AI? Think about it. Thank you. Terima kasih. Next slide.
Thank you, Dr. Wong. In fact, it's very interesting, and it will trigger more professionals and academicians to think about it. But whatever you said, I do agree with you, Dr. Wong, because we do face a similar experience. Dear participants, before we proceed to the next keynote speaker, May I ask if anyone has a question for Dr. Wong? If you have a question, please click the raise hand button and the organizer will unmute your microphone, or you may also type your questions in the chat box. Thank you. Any questions?
Or any comments? I'd love to hear your perspectives and ideas. Oh, I saw something from the chat bot. From the chat. What should universities focus on to remain relevant? I believe this is what I presented just now, right? Probably less on knowledge transmission, but more on the softer side of a university's role in terms of socialization, in terms of being an arena for students to discover themselves, to experience different areas of knowledge and education. So yeah, I believe that was the focus of my presentation just now.